going to stay with Women's Day commemorations. The Gauteng government celebrating the 68th anniversary of that 1956 Women's March to the Union Buildings in Tshwane. The event will be held under the theme celebrating 30 years of democracy towards women's development, reenacting the historic march from Lillian Ngoyi Square to the Union Buildings. Now, of course, as I mentioned, the event marks 68 years since over 20,000 women protested against past laws during the apartheid regime. Watching this particular development is our reporter Mbalenhle Mthethwa, who joins us now live. And Mbalenhle, it sounds like the event is well underway.
Well, it is well on its way, as marchers have already started making their way up the road towards the Union Building. And we've also been to the Union Building, and there are people arriving there. Where we are is the bus stop where many people who are here to celebrate Women's Day have started arriving. And among those are some of the women from the Women's League. Some of them were actually even present on the day of the march. But before we speak to them, I just want to step out of the shot and just show you the women in the far end. I don't know if you are able to zoom in, but the women are there right at the end. And the women right in front of us here are the ones who just came out of the buses. Unfortunately, disappointed that they could not be a part of that reenactment and that march. But I'm going to be joined by one of Umama here. Mama, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. Ma'am, we understand that you were among those in 1956 who came here to the Union Buildings. Talk to us about what were the circumstances that led you to participate in this march?
In 1956, the women, they've seen that they are very tired. They've been oppressed. We can't even walk in the street as a woman or as a man. We have to carry your ID. By then, we are oppressed. We've got nothing to say, nothing to do. They were just treating us like nobody else. So people, they come together, decide, and then they talk that no, enough, it's enough. Let us march to the Union Building and go and fight for our rights.
And Mama, who else was there? Who among the leaders that, we know of in the past who came with you on that day? I mean, how old were you when you also participated on the march?
I think by 1956, I was very young, because by then, I'm born maybe 60s. I was young, but my mother was the part of it, because she was carrying the big bus. They call it Dom bus. Before we got this one, they call it Facebook. We were having, things were tough for us, because you can't even walk, you can't even do anything without carrying the Facebook. They call it Facebook. Amapas ngaleso skhat. Aye umgqiyu ongaka. Ungakwazi ukuhamba ufuna trespass. When you walk during the night after 6 o'clock, you must show where you coming from, where you going. Bazofuna ukuthi iphi trespass yakho. So the women were fighting for us. Kwakukhona bo Charlotte Maxeke, abo mama bo Albertina, people were fighting nabo Lindiwe. Kwakunzima abo mama, and then the ANC baqalela manje ukuthi let's recognize the people, let's recognize the women. The women, they must fight for us, like as we want today. We want to be recognized. We want to be people, they must know we can lead. We can take the people, we can lead the country. We can lead even in the floor. Without women, there's nothing can happen, because it is in Bogoto. We are strong.
Absolutely, Mama, you are strong. And as a young woman who participated in such a historic event, I am sure this is something that you are extremely proud of as a young woman back then and as the woman that you are today. And would you say that you have lived to see the fruits of what you have been fighting for? Or do you believe that more still needs to be done?
Yes, I still believe that more still needs to be done. The women, they must be handling the top position. The women, they must be put in the high ranks. We want to see women moving forward because we as old women, we didn't get that chance. But today, we see our kids, they can do it because they go to school, they went, banayo yonke into. So if they can start today and think about themselves that I'm a woman, no one can undermine me. I'm the woman. I can stand for myself. I can fight my battle. I can win the war. Let us to unite and to be together. Basilide siye phambili njengabo mama. Babuyise nezwe lethu South Africa kube dignified. The women we want today. We want dignified women. When we choose them to the position, they must work as women without fear. Yes.
And Mama, again, as someone who's a part of the ANC and has been a part of the ANC Women's League, what do you make and what are your comments on what happened after the May elections, where the ANC dipped below 50%? How did you feel when you saw that happening and there being a need to form a government of national unity?
No, when we go to election and then we see that we are less than 50 below, we were so surprised, and we never been happy. But what we know, it's a wake-up call. Now, as women, we'll stand up and fight for our rights and fight for our organization, because there's no organization without ANC. If you lose ANC, there's nothing you can do. ANC is the organization that leads the people, that fights for the people. Where I'm growing up like this, if it was not ANC, I will be never to be here. Because ANC is the one. Today I don't carry the ID book. Today I can go anywhere where I want. I can even sleep at the hotel, in each and every hotel. Even in the toilets we can use. Before we never had all those opportunities. They were undermining us because we were black. They even write it that black people this side, white people this side. So ANC make things, even the transport, everything is neutral. Especially even for us as pensioners. Things for us, it's very easy. The government is subsidizing us. We catch the train, they give us less ticket. Buses, we catch it for free via. So ANC is the best, is the one who can fight for the people. I hope people, they must come back and think about it and think where do they come from and think about those bloodshed from 56, 76, 86 up to now. For the sake of those people, they must be united. We will go back. We will rule the country. We'll get this country, ladies, no matter what. Izinto zethu zizolunga. Sibelonga la. We are the South African. We are the women. Amandla. Elizwe. Sizolthola futhi.
Mama, igama nesibongo nje bani?
Mthethwa.
Siyabonga kakhulu mama uMthethwa ukhulume kahle nje ukhulume kakhulu sabona sezwa siyabonga nje kakhulu. As I am moving backwards there, Ayanda, what I am trying to do is to show you the marchers who are led by women, men and women rather, who are dressed in blue, and I'm going to step out of the shot as we walk closer to what we are seeing over here. The police officials police officers that have led this march and assisted those who are also a part of the march. Beautiful scenes here on Church Street, really. 20,000 women came out in 1956 in protest against that, the carrying of that Bavay's book, which was popularly known as Itompas. And Umama there talking about how she is grateful for the freedom of movement and how she believes that the ANC has worked hard in order to ensure that the rights of the majority and all South Africans are recognized in South Africa, and the recognition of black people as members of society and members of the community of South Africa and members of Africa. And this is how the statement and the stance that South Africa is for all those who live in it and not just a few people. These are the women who have marched all the way a few kilometers away from the Union building and are now on their way or making their way to the Union building, leading other women who are walking behind them and just showing, reenacting that very historic day that we know about today, which was a protest march against the conditions that women were left to live under at the time. No freedom of movement, no freedom of expression, no rights were then recognized at the time. We are going to step back. We see that it's very difficult to break this or come between this guard that the police or the EMPD and EMS services people have really formed. And now if you look in the far back over there, you will see people with placards and more people, women in the public sector really have also come out. Women from the ANC Women's League are also here. Women from the crime prevention wardens, which are part of the provincial government and part of an initiative that was put in place by Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi to ensure that, you know, they are able to, there's protection of people and people are able to get protection in certain communities. There we go. These are the scenes. These are the women who have walked up the road to reenact that day, that one day, that historic, beautiful day that fought for, that was intended to fight for the rights of women. Umama there saying that women are able to take up space, women are educated, women are in a better space, and are calling on women to be dignified leaders and to take up space of getting the land back, and to remember that this land is for all South Africans and all who live in it, and they have every right and they have nothing to fear in any way when it comes to taking up space in position and higher up positions. And essentially he's talking about women representation in different and in different organizations, in positions of parliament, in higher positions. This is the walk to the Union buildings. I'm going to try and speak to one of the women here. You know, Sanbona Mama Kunjani. Yeah, ma'am. Should we talk to her? Leadership, how are you? I'm good, thank you. We can keep walking. Okay, we're gonna keep moving. We're moving to the leadership. Ma'am, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
I'm good, thank you. I see you have marched and you have reenacted the march of 1956. Why was it important for you to do this today and participate as members of the public and with members of the public as well as members of the Women's League?
It's quite very important. It actually reminds us of who we are as women and power that we have. But now what is main thing for us is to remain united as women so that we can achieve more.
Yeah. There's Umama here who we spoke to, who was among those who protested on the day, on that fateful day. And she is calling for women to take up space in big positions, right? And she says women should never be afraid to take up space, but she's also calling for dignified leadership, women representation and dignified leadership. What do you say to words like that coming from someone who has been a part of the march?
It's quite very important, those words, because they are coming from the stalwarts, the women who have wisdom, veterans of our age. We regard them as women leadership that has wisdom. So we're quite happy for you to be here with us. Yes.
And are you confident to take up space? Do you feel that women in today's life, I mean, she says that women have more opportunities now. Women are educated more than they were back then. and she wants to see women taking up space. Do you feel that that is a message that the Women's League is actually putting forward to the youth coming in now?
Absolutely. We are advocating for women leadership all the way. We feel that women, they are ready, more than ready, to take all the opportunities that we can have. You heard the Secretary General was saying that we are advocating for women to take executive positions because we've got competent and capable women. Our women are capacitated. They are eloquent, they are more educated. They actually 50, you can see to the petrol station now. You see old women who are pouring petrol there, which means we are ready to take over. As well as we've got a young desk which is coming, the new generation of young women. So I also encourage them to actually work with the women so that we bring the struggle of the women forward.
And as the Women's League, right, we're going to have to stop. We're going to have to stop. They're asking us to stop. They're asking us to stop. But before I let you go, the ANC dipping below 50% during the national elections. Obviously, this is something that is heartbreaking and so on. Umama also expressing that that was heartbreaking. Your thoughts? I mean, what do you do now as the Women's League and as people who are meant to then take up space in this whole movement and ensuring that this movement does not lose its power?
We're actually looking at that. Remember, we are in a renewal process. It's part of the things what you do, introspection. Even to the NEC Lukutla last weekend, they actually touched on those bases where we lost power. But we're not giving up as ANC. We are saying to people on the ground that we're coming to them fully, we fully support of the ANC Women's League. As a Women's League, we are confident that 2026, here we come.
There we have it, 26, year 26. They are coming, they are coming. We are stuck where we are because we are in between the police and the protesters. And the song that they're singing is Ba Pina Labo Mama, Tina Siabuza. And they're asking, where are the women in the struggle? And they are saying, Mapelele Mazweni, meaning that they are also in the struggle, you know. So it's quite a strong song and a strong message and a beautiful message, really, and a beautiful demonstration. It's back to you in studio, Ayanda.
All right, Mbalenhle Mthethwa, part of our team there along Church Street in the capital. Very lively scenes coming from that particular venue where a number of women, of course, have gathered to reenact what took place on this day back in 1956, where 20,000 women sort of banded together, if you like, to try and make their voices heard, an event which has changed the course of history in this country. And 30 years later, or at least since 1994, when it was first commemorated, we now use this moment to mark the plight of women in South Africa and the way forward.